Hey everybody, it's PDubs. Thanks as always for hanging out upstairs with us and for checking out the channel. We're going to be talking about Arcade1Up NFL Blitz today, and we're going to be doing something that we haven't done in a little while. That's right, we're going to give you 5 reasons why. I always love making this kind of video. 5 reasons why you should consider purchasing the Arcade1Up NFL Blitz cabinet, as well as 5 reasons why you should not consider purchasing the Arcade1Up Blitz cabinet, and we're going to kick things off right now. So 5 reasons you should not purchase the Arcade1Up NFL Blitz cabinet. Well, for starters, my dudes, it's another 4-player cabinet from Arcade1Up. These 4-player expanded control panels, a lot of consumers have issues with these because of their extra width. A lot of super fans, they tend to buy a lot of Arcade1Up cabinets. And when you purchase a lot of Arcade1Up cabinets, you tend to end up smashing them side by side in your game rooms until you run out of space. And 4-player control panels, unfortunately, they basically take up the enough room for a cabinet and a half, and you lose out on additional space in your home. Every cubic inch, every cubic foot is so important for us super fans when trying to purchase and own a lot of these cabinets. Now, some casual owners out there, they only own a couple of Arcade1Ups, or hey, some people have monster-sized game rooms and they haven't run out of space yet, but there's a lot of us who are out of space. And the fact that Arcade1Up didn't give us a 2-player version of this game, why not? Why not? There were 2-player versions of NFL Blitz in the real arcades. It would have been great to have the option. We're selling a 4-player and a 2-player. And maybe the 2-player would have been a little bit less money with less controls, etc. That would have been nice in my opinion. Okay, number 4 reason to possibly not purchase this Arcade1Up NFL Blitz cabinet is the fact that this first SKU, or first couple of SKUs of this cabinet that we've seen in Walmart, Sam's Club, and other retailers. There's a SKU from Arcade1Up directly with just the cabinet. There's a SKU from Walmart, Sam's Club that has a stool included, but all the SKUs are for 3/4 scale arcade cabinets. There's a lot of people out there who were hoping that this would be an extra large premium size cabinet, an XL, a Pro Edition, whatever the heck you want to call it. Don't be surprised due to the popularity and of this license if Arcade1Up doesn't decide to release more SKUs of this cabinet in the future. They did it with NBA Jam. We have NBA Jam XL. Don't be surprised if sometime next year there's an Arcade1Up NFL Blitz XL cabinet. Number 3 reason to possibly not purchase the Arcade1Up NFL Blitz cabinet would be the marquee. That's right, guys. This is a Translite reverse printed acrylic marquee, translucent, whatever you want to call it, and it does not look as good as the Mortal Kombat Midway 30th. If any of you guys out there have the Arcade1Up Midway 30th Mortal Kombat cabinet, you guys know how good that marquee looks. Arcade1Up hit a home run. They're using the same exact technology, same exact lighting methodology for this Blitz marquee, but take a look, guys. This is not any kind of Photoshop or, hey, my flash was too bright or the lighting in the room was wrong. This is what it looks like when I saw this thing in person, and I gotta tell you, my dudes, I gotta tell you, I wasn't happy. I think that the printing, once again, they went with too light of printing on the acrylic. So sure enough, guess what? The light bleeds through and it looks a little bit washed out. Odds are I'm going to have to buy a Joe Sabo marquee. So there's another $50 to $100 out of your pocket if you're nitpicky like me. Number 2 reason to possibly not purchase the Arcade1Up NFL Blitz cabinet, guys, is going to be if you're not happy with the artwork. We have the one of the original Blitz control panels here, which is really nice. We have the Blitz marquee, but the artwork on the side of the cabinet is completely original. All new original, highlighting the fact that this is a remastered versions of NFL Blitz from Arcade1Up. And both sides of the cabinet have these photos of famous players like Dan Marino, Brett Favre, Jerry Rice, Jerome Bettis, etc. And in all the renders we saw, and all the pictures that we saw, all the advertisements and website listings, these renders all showed these pictures to be high resolution, some pretty cool artwork, right? But when you get this cabinet and you get it in person, guess what, guys? It is a mess. It is a mess. It is a pixelated, grainy mess. Whatever they did, they took some photos of these NFL players and they blew them up and didn't do any kind of photoshopping or adjusting or anything. They just blew these guys up and they they look like this. Now, I personally feel they could have just blew these up. There's ways they could have made these photos crystal clear to really make the cabinet pop. From far away, it doesn't look so bad, but when you're standing next to it, my dudes, it's gonna pop, and it might not bother everybody, but it does bother me. I really wish we had nice crystal clear images of these guys, because in all honesty, I thought it looked okay until I saw how grainy it was. Okay, my dudes, and the number one reason and the most obvious reason not to purchase this Arcade1Up NFL Blitz cabinet is what, guys? And this is the number one reason many people have not placed their orders, is the fact that the late hits have been removed from this game, late hits in between plays. The violence has been toned down. The violence in the game has been toned down. And again, all this came from the NFL in order for them to even grant Arcade1Up a license to even make this game. We're missing late hits. We're missing 16% of the tackles, a lot of the more violent tackles, things like clotheslines, etc., doing leg drops, a lot of the goofy professional wrestling moves, etc. Many of those things have been removed from the game. You still have 84% of the tackles, and there's a lot of great high-impact stuff that I saw when I was testing this game last weekend. So there's still some cool stuff, mind you, but then again, it's not all there. The original stuff isn't there, as well as you have about 90 to 92% of the rosters, so you're missing about 8 to 10% of the rosters because they weren't able to get every single player, again, due to licensing issues. So if you're expecting this arcade cabinet to be a fully recreation of these three Blitz games from what you remember playing on consoles growing up, Dreamcast, PlayStation, as well as in the arcades, you're not going to get that. And if that matters to you, and it seems like it matters to many people, that's the number one reason not to purchase this cabinet. Okay, my dudes, time to flip the script and talk about 5 reasons why you should consider purchasing the Arcade1Up NFL Blitz cabinet. For starters, there's going to be a huge improvement to the overall game presentation, visual quality of the game running efficiently on the system, overall gameplay speed, etc. When I did my first impression video, as well as when I first tested this game out over the weekend, the first thing I noticed was this game is running a lot faster than what I'm used to seeing on the Dreamcast versions of the games, because I tend to play those more frequently than I do going to the arcades and finding a Blitz and playing the real Blitz there. Definite improvement overall, because, you know, those games are running at 30 frames per second, etc. The original arcade was in like a 240p. Now it's on this 17-inch LCD monitor, so it's 960p. So comparing, you know, resolution of a CRT to resolution on an LCD, you know, it's kind of like, you know, comparing apples and oranges or bananas and grapes. You know, they're different, but, you know, it kind of makes sense. But overall, the game was running at a consistent 60 frames per second, very smooth. It felt like a brand new game that was just released on a major console today. It did not feel like an old arcade game that runs slower. After my first impressions, after playing with it, I tell you what, I'm enjoying the very smooth gameplay that I experienced on the NFL Blitz cabinet. Alright, my dudes, the number 4 reason to consider purchasing this cabinet is something different that we couldn't do in the arcades back then, as well as the previous consoles that this game was released on. We have online play coming soon. Now, then again, yes, it needs to come out, and it needs to be tested and reviewed and vetted to determine if it's a solid experience. But in all honesty, all the Arcade1Up cabinets I've had, when I have managed to play online with people via peer-to-peer networks, whether it was via Wi-Fi or Ethernet, I usually ended up having a really good experience. Not too many issues with Arcade1Up in their online play, except for sometimes finding someone to play. But this is a huge thing, in my opinion. Adds replay value, especially if you can get with a group of friends to play these games consistently online and enjoy them. If you're that kind of person, some people, local play is all they're going to do. They're not going to play online, so that's fine. But then again, this will have online play. It will have online leaderboards, win-loss tracking, etc. So that stuff is pretty cool, and it makes you want to come back for more and play other people, other cabinet owners, etc. Online play is always very exciting, and I'm very happy to see that it's coming to this NFL Blitz cabinet. Should hopefully be launched here by October. Okay, and the number 3 reason to consider picking up this cabinet from Arcade1Up is the 49-way joysticks. Out of the box, when you take this out of the box and start to play them, These are, in my opinion, the out-of-the-box feeling is these could potentially be the best joysticks Arcade1Up has given us so far. The original arcade games needed a 49-way joystick. Arcade1Up has their own recreation of that here, and the performance is fantastic. Yes, you do need to make sure all the joysticks are calibrated out of the box. We had one joystick that was not calibrated. Once it was calibrated, it worked just as good as the others, and I gotta tell you guys, out of the box, the joystick performance was fantastic. They're tight, they feel great when you're they don't feel like they're missing any kind of inputs, etc. Now again, we'll have to see, will these be of quality? Will they stand the test of time? Okay, my dudes, the number 2 reason you should consider purchasing the Arcade1Up NFL Blitz cabinet is what you see right here. If you have the ability to play this game with your friends in your home, local play, it is so exciting. Myself, Console Kits, B Kong, Kongs R Us, Michael B the Game GD, 19K Fox, we had an absolute blast. There was no fake excitement here. We were having a really good time. And when you have a bunch of guys around and you're drinking and playing NFL Blitz and you're getting all hyped up and bothered and excited, and you know, we weren't even caring that there weren't late hits or that some tackles were missing. The game was still intense enough, loud enough, fast enough to keep us into it, keep us entertained, and we had a really good time. And yes, it's a 17-inch monitor. Yes, you had 4 big dudes surrounding this cabinet, but because it's a BOE monitor, I even said it when even before we played our first game on B stream, I said, hey guys, from where I'm standing, where you see me standing right here, where you see that big doofus PDubs, I had no problems viewing the screen. None. No problems viewing the screen whatsoever. It wasn't washed out or anything like that, thanks to the IPS BOE monitor. But the game and play itself is fun, and that's what it's all about. That's why we buy these toys. That's why we have these toy arcades in our home. It gives us a more cost-effective way of bringing these kind of things into our homes, and it was a good. Okay, my dudes, and now you ready for the number 1 reason to purchase the Arcade1Up NFL Blitz cabinet? Is the fact that many people have passed on it. A lot of the Arcade1Up super fans or guys who are hardcore serious gamers want these games to be as close to the original as possible, have decided to pass on this cabinet. This cabinet is plenty available from many retailers, Adorama, Best Buy, Arcade1Up directly, etc., GameStop, etc. You'll be able to purchase this cabinet. You'll be able to get your hands on it. But here's what's funny. Here's what's the funniest thing. Because a lot of people have decided to pass on it, if these cabinets I see going on sale sooner than you think, a lot of these retailers are going to have these piles of Arcade1Up NFL Blitz cabinets that nobody bought. So if you're patient, which is what I recommend, if you're patient, odds are you'll be able to get this cabinet cheaper than you think. Maybe $100 off, $200 off, you know, $250 off come this holiday season. I'm predicting already myself that this cabinet is going to go on sale at retailers because a lot of super fans are passing on it. And which is a good thing for those who are actually interested in the cabinet. If you're patient, don't rush to make a purchase. These cabinets will go on sale, and you'll be able to get them at a cheaper price versus the $600 price tag. There you go, my dudes. There's the top 5 reasons, in my opinion, why you should or should not purchase the Arcade1Up NFL Blitz cabinet. Hopefully this helps some of you making your purchase decisions on whether you should or should not buy. What did I miss? What are your reasons? Let me know in the comments section below when the video is over. And if you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, my dudes. Give me a thumbs up on the way out. And as always, thank you for subscribing.
For sure though, grinding from the grip.